All right. Well, I'm just sitting here. I was watching the Lakers game, and I noticed some significant things dealing with the number 56 yet again in sports and whatnot, and maybe a new theme or something. But as I was looking through there, it just made me want to look up Philadelphia yet again. I've been talking about Philadelphia so many times, and I wondered when the next time Obama will be in Philadelphia. And I can't find the exact date or whatever that he will be in Philadelphia. Seems pretty hard to find. But some weird things happened when I typed this in. Will Obama be in Philadelphia 2016? And the only thing that comes up is that the 2016 Democratic National Convention will be in Philadelphia this year in July. But also, as you're scrolling down, the only other article that even mentions anything about Obama in Philadelphia is this one right here. Uh, it's just interesting. Obama to rally Democrats in Philly to kill sequester and budget. And it's from January 29th, 2015. So he was in Philadelphia then. But they talk about the number 529 here. After giving up on his controversial plan to end 529 college savings plans, blah, 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 blah. So just interesting. The whole thing is about this 529 college savings plans. And I'm not sure if he'll be in Philadelphia before that. I'm assuming that he would attend the 2016 Democratic National Convention. Just being from the Democratic Party, you would assume that he would just at least be in attendance. So who knows? Maybe he won't be, and maybe he's going to go to Philadelphia before this. Just found this kind of interesting. This says that it will be held on July 25th through the 28th. And they decided it on 2/12 of 2015, Abraham Lincoln's birthday of 2015. We saw this number over and over and over, the 2/12. It even ties into Pope Francis, who was also in Philadelphia this year. But I typed it in here on the date calculator, and I went to the first day of the convention, and it's a span of 529 days. I mean, just interesting, 529. And then this only other article that I could find about Obama in Philadelphia actually mentions 529 college savings plans. And just look at the gematria of college savings plans. 212. Just like the day that they decided that the Democratic National Convention was going to be in Philadelphia in 2016. Also interesting, it's 10 days before his 55th birthday that the National Convention will be in Philadelphia. And I remember Zachary K. Hubbard had the 10-day theory or whatever, the 10 days later theory, because Abraham Lincoln had a dream about his death, and he got shot 10 days later, and then RFK gave a speech in Roseburg, Oregon, and then got murdered 10 days later. So I just want to point this out here really quick. He got shot on he died on June 6, 1968, and he gave the speech at Roseburg, Oregon, just like Obama did this year. But he gave it 10 days before he died. Interesting, they even mention in here, Roseburg is reeling after a gunman killed 9 and wounded 9 at the community college, right? Well, earlier in the year we had the Charleston church shooting or whatever. Obama gave a speech at Clementa Pinckney's funeral, and in the Charleston church shooting there was 9 people that died or whatever, and then Obama gave a speech 9 days later, so 9 and 9. Also interesting to point out that Abraham Lincoln was shot on April 14th, and he died 9 hours and 9 minutes later. And they have just been overloading us with Abraham Lincoln stuff, foreshadowing in the news, possibly foreshadowing Obama's assassination. But let's look at this really quick. So I thought maybe, 10 days later, which is 144, which actually goes with political assassinations, but I thought maybe 10 days before, so I typed in 10 days before instead of after, because if they're mirroring it, maybe it would be before. 10 days before adds up to 139 and 58, just like the word Freemasonry. But in this article here, it says 11 days, even though 27 to the 31 is 4, plus 6 is 10. But if you count the day, or whatever, 11 days later is what it says here. And even on here you can do that. You can include the end date in the calculation. So it would be 11 days before his birthday if you did that. Now this 11 days sticks out to me a lot because of recent things that have happened in the news. So Obama in Paris, he went over schedule 11 minutes on a speech. And in Gematria, 11 minutes adds up to 56, over schedule adds up to 56, and he was giving a speech on climate change that adds up to 56, also 101, just like the word Philadelphia. Interesting to point out, Paris, France equals 56, also ISIS equals 56. So also, I talked about the Bill Kennedy thing in a previous video here. Bill Kennedy was a ref who wore number 55, and Rajon Rondo called him a faggot. And then 11 days later, so the game was on December 3rd, and then on December 14th, this guy came out as he said that he was gay and he was offended by the gay slur or whatever. Interesting, 11 days later, they waited 11 days, his last name is Kennedy. I mean, just think about that for a second. Also wearing the number 55 as a ref, and the day of the National Democratic Convention will be 11 days before Obama's 55th birthday. Also interesting to point out, the college football national championship, so they do a playoff this year. On New Year's Eve, Alabama plays Michigan State, and the national championship is played on 1/11. Interesting that it's played on this day. It's kind of like the World Series, this year was the 111th World Series. The Kansas City Royals, who add up to 212 even, won it on 11-1 after Matt Harvey pitched his 111th pitch. And I mean, there's tons of other stuff that goes along with that. If you think it's just a coincidence, go back and watch my World Series videos. I talked about how I think the Royals were going to win the World Series probably closer to the beginning of October, even though that the Chicago Cubs were coated a lot. I talked about the reasons why I thought the Kansas City Royals were actually going to win the World Series. So I haven't looked at it enough to make a prediction for the college championship yet. But what's interesting about it is that Michigan State Spartans adds up to 84, just like the word Jesuit. Pope Francis is the first Jesuit pope, just like United States of America. Also, even Obama and Jewish gematria adds up to 84. He was born on August 4th, kind of like 84. Also, Michigan State University was founded on February 12th, 1855, 2/12 of 55. Also, Clemson, South Carolina adds up to 84 as well. Interesting, so Michigan State made the Final Four in the Final Four tournament of basketball last year, and now they make the Final Four in the football tournament. Kind of like the 44, Obama's the 44th president. Could be a stretch, but just interesting to point out. I mean, if both of these teams actually lose on New Year's Eve, that is going to be pretty obvious to me what they have in store for Obama. Even more interesting, the national championship in football is on 1/11, and if you go to 2/12, it's a span of 4 weeks and 4 days. The 44 reference once again. So anyway, I'm going to move on. If you go back and watch some of my previous videos, it'll make more sense. On the same day that Bill Kennedy came out as gay, Kennedy Meeks for North Carolina, he injured his knee or whatever, his left knee, and he's out for at least 2 weeks. And he has a bone bruise. Bone bruise adds up to 56. They also had Kathleen Kennedy, right? Another Kennedy reference. She's the president of Lucasfilms, or Lucasfilm, for like George Lucas and the Star Wars and whatnot that everyone's talking about right now. Lucas adds up to 56 even. But what I want to show here, I was watching the Laker game earlier, and literally, so Kobe Bryant had like an awesome dunk or whatever, But I just want to point out the time that he had the dunk. The Lakers even had 44 points at the time here. And just look at the time that he had the dunk. I don't know how they do it, but they literally plan it on certain times. It has to be. He dunks it at like 9:27, 9:26 left in the third, right? Pope Francis went to the Philadelphia on 9:26 and 9:27. That 9:27 was the day that he left. Kobe Bryant is a Philadelphia native. I've made tons of videos on this and how it all connects to Kobe Bryant. Also, later on here, so Kobe had an awesome third quarter, and they put this up here. If I can get it to work right here. Here we go. So they had 59 points. Interesting because 1959 was 56 years ago even. I've mentioned this multiple times, but there's 5 minutes and 6 seconds left, right? So kind of like 56. And they even show that Kobe Bryant in the third quarter is shooting 5 of 6. It's just the weirdest time ever to show. They could have showed his stats any other time in this third quarter. That dunk was 4 minutes ago. But at 5:06, they show that he's 5 of 6 when the Lakers have 59 points. Also, last night, the Bucks played the Clippers, and literally 5 minutes and 6 seconds into the game, right? First quarter, the quarters are 15 minutes. 5 minutes, 6 seconds into the game, the lights go out. How many times have I mentioned blackouts and whatnot? I mean, it's so ridiculous. Even the blackout in the World Series this year. 2 blackouts. Just want to play the clip here. I mean, people don't even realize this is so planned. 5 minutes and 6 seconds into the game.
Together we will. Oh, the lights just dim. And they blow a whistle, take away the Lakes is going. I just made the free throw. Let's play ball. We're going to make him shoot it again. So, that happened about 5:30 tonight. It just happened again now. Wow. Me, oh my.
So then he makes his free throw. They make him shoot it again. But interesting. So the Lakers actually, they lost to Philadelphia 76ers, breaking the Philadelphia 76ers loss streak. And then they lost to the Golden State Warriors, and the Golden State Warriors broke the 16-0 streak. And then the Milwaukee Bucks beat the Warriors to break the Warriors streak, and then the next game they played was against the Lakers even. And the Lakers actually beat them, and then that game when they played the Clippers beat them as well. So they lost 2 games at the Staples Center. But just interesting, Milwaukee is in Wisconsin. Wisconsin is one of 2 states that adds up to 44, Georgia being the other one. But the word Clippers adds up to 44. Also, look at this. Bucks adds up to 56. You just had Bo Ryan, who retired. His real name is actually William Ryan. William Ryan adds up to 56. Just wanted to point that out there. Also, the word president. Just not going to type it in. President adds up to 56. Kenya. Everyone thinks Obama's actually from Kenya. Kenya adds up to 56 even. And remember, Obama's the 44th president. I've talked about how they mirrored it to Abraham Lincoln a lot. Abraham Lincoln died at the age of 56 in the year 65. He even died in Washington, D.C. That adds up to 56 in the month of April. Also interesting, you had the Bucks tonight. The Bucks lost to the Rams. And look at this picture they put in here. I mean, come on. You scroll down, the first picture they have in the article, number 3 and number 56. 56, number 3. The word 3 adds up to 56 even. I also forgot to point out the score of the Clippers and the Bucks game. Adds up to 193. The 44th prime number is 193 even. So whatever, just want to show some coding. I'm wondering if there's something to do with the word Bucks and maybe Pirates or something else. Even had the Milwaukee Bucks in the news for partying the morning that they lost to the Lakers. So who knows? Have a good night.